Well, folks, welcome back to the show. We have a guest, Robert Fine. You've probably known him as the Economic Development Commissioner in Kelowna. He's also got a couple of bands. He plays with the Dreamland Band quite often, singing, jumping into crowds, but also he's got a new band called Robert Fine and the Fine Tunes. Is that correct?
That's correct. By the way, love the comfortable chairs. This is so relaxing.
I thought about putting a scotch out, but I thought, no, it's PG television here,
yeah,
so no, we won't.
I was going to suggest some ice, but okay.
Okay, no, it's good. So we got water for you today.
Very good. I'm happy with that.
Excellent. So, your new band. Tell us about the new band.
So this is a bunch of musicians, three of whom have played or do play in the Dreamland Band, and then we've got another bass player who's joined in. We've kind of delved in this realm off and on, done weddings and stuff, but this is kind of neat because doing songs that I don't get the chance to do with the big band. So still the great American songbook, but tunes that you wouldn't have never heard from me. So that makes it terrifying and exciting at the same time.
Okay, so I know you do the American songbook for the Dreamland Band and the big band stuff. So what type of songs are we talking about? Like what songs are we?
Same genre, but get to do some amazing ballads like These Foolish Things, You Go to My Head. On a Clear Day You Can See Forever, This Can't Be Love. Just songs that you just don't get a chance to do. So it's just an interesting, different kind of approach to things.
Okay, so every time I tell people, the guy named Robert Fine's jobs at Economic Development Commissioner, there seems to be this glazed over look. They go, Economic Development Commissioner, so what the heck do you do for a job? What does that mean? Like, what does that job entail?
So I think most people that actually meet you have a glazed over look, just out of
perhaps.
But no, it's an interesting thing because trying to explain what we do and what I do is. But so the commission's here as part of a function of regional government to help small businesses grow, and we do that by hopefully dealing with some of their issues and challenges that make them more strong as a business, and also attract new investment into the region and try and deal with some of the challenges they're facing. So we do a lot of workforce development, export work. We have an agricultural program to help farmers create new agritourism opportunities. Okay. We have our Okanagan Young Professionals Network, which is to make the region more livable and fun for young people, but provide career paths, connection, networking. And so at the core of all that is really building a strong economy in the region, trying to allow, because we are living in a small business mecca here, we have more small businesses.
You have a large percentage, isn't it? 90% or something like that?
54% sole flyers, sole proprietors, and then about 97% less than 20 employees. So we've got a huge base of small businesses. So people traditionally think economic development is bringing big factories and plants into communities. Well, that doesn't work here for a whole bunch of reasons. So we have to be more focused and targeted, and we really focus a lot of our efforts on the attraction side on bringing in what we call footloose entrepreneurs, people that can decide where they want to live, and we thankfully have the great proposition of a quality of life here, so it attracts people who come here with their families. They'll invest money, start a business. They may not operate the business for the Kelowna market, because that's another interesting challenge. It's a small market. To be globally competitive is where we want to see companies go. But they'll use us as their base, and they'll hire people and fly in and out of our airport, and so that's a big part of who we're trying to attract in here.
It sounds like a complicated amount of things to pull together to make things happen. Like, just because you're talking between airports, and I know you're involved in the Fort Mac and back kind of thing, because we've got this large amount of workers in the region. That's like we've got a large percentage of our workers are actually working on that.
Roughly 5,000 in the valley.
That's insane.
Work in northern Alberta, yeah.
So like there's that piece, and then there's the tech community is growing in Kelowna. It's exponentially growing. We got the new innovation center that's just recently announced. So just how do you come up with the ideas that you're going to prioritize your time? Because there is so much opportunity, but also variety of things. Like, where do you find the ideas of where we're going next?
So I think what we've, a couple of things. First of all, we have an amazing advisory board. So 42 people on the board.
42?
Yeah. So
seems like a lot of folks advise. That's a lot of ideas to go
for a big Christmas luncheon.
Okay.
The basis of having 42 is that it's an advisory board. They're not a fiduciary or legal board. They have no legal responsibility. Okay. So I ultimately report to the regional board directors, and that's the elected officials from the communities. So we have this assortment of folks, and we have what we call sector representatives. So those are people that volunteer to be on the board at large, and they come from pretty much, you name the sector of the economy in the region. We have them as a board member. So the reason to have them around the table is that I need to know what's going on in manufacturing. We need to know what's happening in the tourism sector, and we need to know what's going on in high tech. So having those folks who are working in that sector provides us this incredible feedback loop where we're getting information on what's actually happening. So when we sit down with our board, they help shape the direction of what we want to focus on because we've got this expertise of all these folks around the table. And then secondly, we try to always look ahead what the next trend is, not live in the present, but focus on future opportunities and challenges, and create programming around that. And I think where we've benefited is that just our connections to the International Economic Development Council, which I've been on the board of for years, we get to see sort of emerging trends, and our network of folks all over Canada and around the world help connect us in terms of what makes good economic development sense.
I mean, how did you end up in this job, and what was the career path that took you here? How did you get to that?
So I got an urban economics degree as an undergraduate degree, and then I went to graduate school for a master's in planning, and I worked in a planning department for a day and hated it. Absolutely.
A day?
Yeah, it was really? A day, and I was, wow, I did all this for this.
And how long have you been Kelowna for? 16
years.
Oh, good. So we got something good going for us, then, is what you're saying.
So I was fortunate that this was in Brampton, Ontario, that the city was given a grant from the provincial government to do some work on energy management efficiency, and at the risk of aging myself, because you can do the math, the OPEC oil crunch had just happened, and so I was responsible for putting a program and study together with the business community how they could improve their energy efficiency to make themselves more competitive. So that was my first outreach to businesses, and from that it rolled into a position running an energy center to make businesses more energy efficient, and then I ran a provincial program in Ontario for the Association of Municipalities of Ontario to do the same thing to make municipalities more energy efficient.
It's pretty ahead of its time when you think about it.
It was pretty, actually, it's kind of, everything old is new again. When we had the next, when oil prices start surging, and all this energy, looking at energy conservation, it was pretty much conversation. Yeah. So from that, I got a little bored and created.
People say, you get bored once in a while?
I do from time to time. So I created this program called Gasimo, which was a natural gas bulk purchase program. So we're talking in the 1980s, and natural gas was deregulated in Canada, meaning that you could buy your natural gas from a different source, and that the pipeline would have to carry it. They'd be paid a flat fee to carry it. In the old days, you had to have agreements with that. So. So we kind of creatively, myself and a gentleman who was an engineering director for the Regional District of Ottawa-Carleton, we kind of came up with this plan, like we could save municipalities a fortune on their bills if we actually bought gas from a different source. So we put this consortium together made up of hospitals and school boards, and we bought gas in Saskatchewan, bypassed the pool producers in Alberta, bought it cheaper, sent it, resold it, and the utilities would deliver it to your house. Nothing changes. You don't put a new lock on the box or have someone show up. It's like it's all seamless. And we saved in the first year, sold $35 million worth of natural gas and saved municipalities, hospitals, school boards $5 million a year just by that program. So that was sort of my big push into doing something really radically future-looking and a little bit entrepreneurial.
So if you jump back to Kelowna then, so now it's like we're in this place where you talk about entrepreneurial, and I hear Donnie from Okanagan Professionals talk about the Okanagan way, where a lot of the job creation down has become from people creating jobs. You talk about Disney, Interactive, and stuff. So we've also got we've got an older population here, the stats, and then I've been reading recently about the incomes, and it's quite shocking when you look at some of the graphs of we've got a rather rich community that's coming to retire here, and then we've also got some really lower income jobs kind of thing, and there's not much in between that. So when you're looking to attract, is there a goal that you're trying to attract for that middle class, or are you trying to attract the hot? Like, how do you know where to attract the type of jobs?
So our focus is really there's skills shortages. So that's one thing. I mean, and they're bad now. They're going to be a lot worse.
In what sectors? Like
it's very if you've got niche skills that are. This is the challenge in the economy. You've got companies that are very complex and diverse. So one area, we've got about 10% of the province's aviation jobs, for example. So that's a sector that you could broadly recruit for, because there could be several opportunities. The digital animation and gaming industries are constant. That's a global challenge, and we have the same challenges here. That companies have commitments.
60 to 90 job
they want to grow them. So those are always there. So how do you attract those folks here, who generally tend to skew younger? And then there's the how do you keep the place vibrant with young families and repopulate. So that's about attracting families, people that grew up here, to get them back here, to make sure they're aware of the job opportunities that are here and the fact that this isn't the old economy.
And do we have job opportunities? I think that's the biggest conversation.
There are.
Okay.
But it's the skills disconnect issue. Do we have the right skill set for the people for the jobs that go wanting here?
Okay, thanks again for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Until next time.
Pleasure.